Our first guest is an award-winning R&B musician who's known for his timeless sound, and he's carrying on the Motown legacy and introducing a new generation to the true meaning of soul.
Here to tell us about his new single and his inspiring journey from hardship to musical success is soul singer Kim. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Hi, Kim. Can we talk about your name, Kim? Where does it come from?
Actually, my given name is K-I-M.
K-I-M?
Kim, like the girl's name.
Oh, okay.
And growing up, that was an issue for me.
I was going to ask you, what was that like being a male Kim on the playground?
Well, I embrace it today, but when I first started making music, we did a variation on it and started spelling it K-E-M, and I've been using that ever since.
So are kids making fun of you, calling you names? What
I had some problems. Yeah. But it's cool.
You've worked through that.
Look at me now.
Look, right there you go. Now what do you have to say, right?
Did your parents ever explain why Kim?
My mother told me that it was because of Asian descent, and which I thought was very cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was meaning behind it. Got you.
All right. Well, also cool is all the albums you've released. I mean, you've released them all under Motown. I mean, how does it feel to release an album with them who have given us groups like Marvin Gaye, the Supremes, the Jackson 5? It's legendary.
You know, I live in Detroit. You know, I was born in Nashville, but I've spent most of my life in the city of Detroit, the Motor City, the town of music. And when we signed with Motown, it was I considered it to be a privilege and a blessing to be signed to a label of such tradition. And my hope is that I'm creating music and performing and creating songs and writing songs in the tradition of Motown.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your new single, It's You. It's coming out in June?
Yes,
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so what can we expect?
You know what? I think that It's You is probably, I tell people that if the Temptations were making music today, you know, this is where they would be headed.
Wow.
There's a mixture of the old school doo-wop group in the background vocals, and there's also a string arrangement by Paul Reiser, who actually did strings for the Temptations. He actually did the string arrangements for It's Just My Imagination and a number of Motown hits.
Were the Temptations a big influence on your music?
Definitely. That whole Motown period was definitely, I don't think that any musician or artist escapes Detroit without having been affected by the Motown sound. Yeah.
Wow. And not only do you have a single coming out, your album, you're also working on that. Tell us what we can expect with the album.
Working on the album. The album will be out in August of this year, later this summer.
Okay.
Got Snoop on the album, which is a treat.
Wait, Kim and Snoop?
You know what I'm saying? Wait, get ready. Get ready. You know.
Now, what was that like?
On a song called Downtown. It's special. You know, it's special. You guys are going to be pleasantly surprised. We're talking to Esperanza Spalding as well about doing something. So,
that's a great mix.
We've got a great project in the works, and I can't wait for you and all of your viewers to check it out.
How do you think your sound has evolved over the years?
You know, I'm a songwriter first, and I pretty much I serve the song. I sit down at the keyboard and wait for the miracle to happen, wait for the magic to happen. And you know, I think that it's evolved as far as the production is concerned. On the new album, for instance, there's a lot of up-tempo fare. You know, well, up-tempo for a Kim album. You know, this is the first time that I've incorporated a rapper in the music, or a bona fide rapper in the music. So, you know, it evolves, but I stay true to what people have come to love and expect from a Kim album. It's quality, it's great music. Yeah.
What made you decide that you were ready to collaborate with a hip-hop star and one as legendary as Snoop?
Well, I serve the song. The song required it. You know, I don't feel that I need to go out and have someone appear on the album just to make the album more marketable.
Got you.
The song required it, you know, and it was either going to be me or Snoop. So if you go into the rap game, it's like you want to hear me rap or you want to hear Snoop rap. And I saw a video on YouTube of Snoop and 2 Chainz, of all the people in the world, singing one of my songs, I Can't Stop Loving You. And so, you know,
Snoop and
you
2
got to see it.
Chainz.
Snoop and 2 Chainz.
Looking that up right after the show.
Yeah, it was hilarious. But he, you know, in that I learned that you know, he digs what I do. You know, and he respects my craft, and I respect his, and it was a perfect fit.
Yeah, music is universal,
yeah,
isn't
absolutely,
it? Yeah,
absolutely.
But before you were a big musical Motown star, you went through some very dark days. You know, at times you were talked about being homeless, in and out of rehab. You know, what was it that actually pulled you into that situation, and what pulled you out?
You know, in recovery circles, we talk about being sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know, and I came to a place where I could no longer see continuing to live the way that I was, and I could no longer, and I didn't know what to do about it. And I surrendered, you know, I surrendered. And once you give up on your ideas about things, you know, it makes room for somebody to come in with the solution. There's a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I was ready, you know, and God brought some people into my life who showed me a better way to live, and I've been on the path ever since. And I don't regret my past. You know, I'm a firm believer that when we go through difficult periods in our lives, it's an opportunity for us to learn. And when we are victorious and come through the other side, it's an opportunity for us to share and encourage and help uplift others who may be going through something similar.
Well, what do you think it was that led you down that path in the first place? Was it the industry, everything that was available to you in the industry? What?
Well, you know what? I wasn't in the industry at that time. You know, I've been very fortunate to have success you know, after having built the foundation of good living. And I wasn't in the industry at that time. You know, I grew up in with, you know, we all have I believe everybody has a dysfunctional family to some degree. And
Got that right.
yeah, let the church say amen. Amen. And you know, different things, childhood depression, ADHD, all these things that when we were growing up, there weren't labels for, there weren't medications for, there wasn't treatment for.
No diagnosis,
you know,
even.
So, but again, you know, I don't regret my past. You know, I've been able to do some pretty spectacular things through the things that God has done for me in my life, and my hope is to continue to do so.
Did you have an epiphany? Did you just wake up one day and say, I don't want to live like this, or was it a gradual process?
You know, at the time, you know, I was a young man and I'm still a young man, I guess, but I was a younger man in the city of Detroit, living out in the streets of the city of Detroit, and my peers were doing the things that people our age were supposed to be doing. They were, you know, going out to dinner on dates. They were out in the clubs. They were at the restaurants, and they were enjoying themselves. They were living life. They were in school. They were doing all of these things that we're supposed to be doing at that time in our lives. And I was not. You know, I was sleeping outside on the Detroit riverfront. You know, and across the river is, you can see Windsor, Canada. And I'm looking at all these lights, and the Ambassador Bridge is lit up down the road, and it's a beautiful setting, you know, but I didn't feel like I was a part of it. You know, it was like all of the lights in the city represented a life that I was not a part of, you know. And my last date, I'm in recovery. I'm a recovering alcohol and drug addict, and I don't make any bones about it. And my sobriety date is the same day as my natural birthday.
Really?
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it was time. You know, it was time.
You were born and reborn.
Born and reborn. That's a beautiful way to put
that.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
And how long have you been clean so far?
My last drink or drug was July 23rd of 1990.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So how do you make the transition from that street life to the music industry?
Music has been a part of my life, even through the darkest periods of my life. Music has been a staple. It's been a light, you know, something that I've always strived for, something that I've always yearned for. And I was writing songs in my addiction, and a lot of the chords and the melodies and some of the lyrics from my first album, Chemistry, were actually cultivated during my period of homelessness. And it's always been there. It was waiting for me, you know, the path, you know, it was waiting for me. And I'm grateful that I was able to persevere and come through and be sitting here with you beautiful people.
So
Now,
are we.
did you find that it was easier or harder to write music when you were going through those hard times? Did it just come to you because you were living it?
And no one's ever asked me that before. I think, you know, I was always writing songs. I was writing songs before, you know, I was actually out in the streets. I was writing songs. You know, I think that there are different types of songs for sure. You know, my writing has evolved, you know, all of my life. But yeah, you know, I don't know if I would say it was better or worse. I have to go back and take a listen and check it out. Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's talk about your third album, right? Because you're currently on the fourth album, is that right?
Right.
Okay, so when you're sort of formulating the idea for an album, how does it work? Walk us through your process. Does a melody come to you? Do you take a trip somewhere and sort of have a brainstorming session with yourself? What's your process?
My process is to write songs, and whatever group of songs I have at the time that it's time to deliver another album, those are usually the songs that go on the next record.
Okay.
And it starts with me at the keyboard. I noodle around on the keyboard until I find something that I like, and then the melody comes next. Melody is really king, you know, and then the words are formulated after that. Yeah.
Now you've also recorded music with Ronald Isley, Stevie Wonder, some great musician legends in the industry. What's it like to work with some of these legends?
It's intimidating.
Is it?
It's intimidating. It can be intimidating, man. You know, you know, Ron Isley is a friend now at this point.
Really?
But like going into the studio to work with him to produce a vocal on a cat who's been doing this since the 50s.
Yes.
You know, what do you tell this guy? You know, what can you tell him? You know, and
you can't say you're a little flat.
you know what I mean? You know, you can only go so far. And, you know, but it was incredible. I couldn't even get through the session. We were doing My Favorite Thing, and he's singing the songs, and he's in the booth hitting all the Ron Isley licks, and I'm starstruck and just trying to embrace the moment. And we would go on to record another song that features him and also Patti LaBelle. And you know, I mean, you know, it's true. If it stopped today, you know, to be in a recording situation where you're producing a vocal of Patti LaBelle, I mean, what? You know, and Patti came, you know, she knows how to treat her brother on the first date. She came to the studio, man, with fried chicken and sweet potato pie, and then went in there and sang to me.
Wait, that she made herself?
That she made herself.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
It's a double treat.
Love you, Patti. Love you, Patti. Love you, Patti. Yeah.
You're like, that was good.
You know what I'm saying?
Now sing something.
Yeah.
Really quickly before you go, let's talk about your charity work, because I know that it's really important for you to give back, especially given all that you've been through.
Right. My foundation is called Mac and Third, and our signature event is an event that we do in Detroit. It's called Mac and Third Live, which traditionally has been a free concert where we invite the public out. They bring donations, they bring canned goods. We have medical services available to people that can come and get medical services for free, get your blood pressure checked, check your cholesterol, dental screenings, and it's a day for the kids. We feed the homeless.
Wow.
Our last event in 2012, we had over 50,000 people attend, 100,000 canned goods. You know, I mean, so it's a big deal in the city, and I'm a firm believer in that old adage that to whom much is given, much is required. And you know, so it's an honor and a privilege for me to be able to give back in that way.
Well, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you here today.
Thank
you
you
so much, and
It's
come
my
again
pleasure.
soon once the album drops, all right?
Definitely.
All right, that's
Definitely.
a deal.
All right, and you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.